Podcasting from Westminster College Studio. This is The Buzz, where we recap last week's Titan Athletics, talk about upcoming Titan events, and hopefully provide a closer look in Titan sports. This is your host, Nate LaRiccia, and my very special guest filling in for my typical co-host, Nick Macdonald, is none other than my best man.
Good morning.
You could tell we rehearsed. What is your name, the voice?
Well, my grandchildren call me Poppy. I just got my doctorate, so let's go with Dr. Poppy. Happy to be here, Nathan. It was fun listening to you and Nick. Finally got someone a little bit better looking sitting next to you. But I think the program may not go smooth with me here. But I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for making the trip from Youngstown, Ohio, taking his day off. If you didn't make the connection yet, that is my father, Jim LaRiccia, a.k.a. the voice of the Titans. So hopefully we'll have I think we'll have a great show here. It's providing something before Thanksgiving. I'm not sure how many people will tune in. I already lost a follower or a listener because you're here. But it'll be fun nonetheless to do this together. So we'll see how it goes here. Let's jump right into it and recap last week's events. First off is the ECAC Bowl game. The Titan football team lost in a very high-scoring game to Wesley College, 42-34. Dad, you were there the whole entire game as you were the PA public address announcer. I had to leave after, I think at halftime, we had the opening Buzz Riddle Classic men's basketball. Started their season, so I had to go over there and be the SID over there. So, what did you take from that game?
I just thought it was a typical Westminster football game. They start playing so hard, and they don't finish without playing hard, and there's no quit in them. And I just is so proud of them. Again, looking at that team, they're able to run, they're able to pass. The defense was strong. Again, they played a team that, again, has a history of being in some really big games. So I'm sure they were coming in that game with much more veteran leadership there in playing those type of games. But our boys really did not back down at all, and I was very proud of them. I just look at our team, and over the past 3 years that I've been being the public address announcer, or as they could say, the voice, very proud of them. And it was an exciting game, and we were in it all the way to the end. Some questionable calling by the officials. We had a few fans that were sitting down in front of us who were in agreement with that. It was a good game.
I mean, this was definitely a NCAA tournament atmosphere. We talked about that in last week's pod. Wesley College, they're always in the NCAA tournament, the real deal, the big show. And I think Westminster gave it their all, and only lost by a score. It was 14-14 at halftime, and Wesley really came out in the third quarter, scored 28 points. One bright spot, if you could, take one. I know there's no moral victories, and but at the same time, Cole Kanishka, the freshman quarterback, almost threw 300 yards, had 3 touchdowns, and his first game that he started he played the majority of the game. He did have 4 interceptions, so there's going to be some obstacles and maybe some freshman woes, if you will, but maybe a quiet 300 yards, Dad. You weren't quite positive that he had 300 yards, but he did have the production.
Well, I know your stats are always 100% accurate, so I really don't question that. But as the flow of the game went, again, I looked at the game really as I think back of it like a heavyweight bout. They would throw a hook, and we would throw a hook, and then they throw a right cross, we throw a right cross, and we did have them back on their heels a number of times, and they got the final punches in at the end. But I think our quarterback did an outstanding job, and Bryson Polinelli, what else could you say about him? What a game that he had, and he's such a class act out there, and we're going to miss him for next year. But all around, the play of all the athletes who got in there during that game did a great job.
What I really like, one of my favorite characteristics of a quarterback is spreading the ball. We're not ashamed cheeseheads over here. Nick is as well. We should talk about the Packers more than we do, but Konishka, there was, I'm counting right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different receivers who caught passes. Paulinelli had career high 129 yards, nine catches and a touchdown. Nick Henderson was next with 2 catches, 76 yards. Connor Cox, who's going to be one of our top returners coming back next year, will be a senior.
What can't you say about Connor Cox? He is amazing. He is not afraid to go over the middle. He's not afraid of going down the sideline. He's not afraid to catch a quick pass on the bubble. He's an outstanding athlete, and he's got the heart of a lion out there. He's excited to see. It'll be fun to see him back next year.
So I think even though it was a loss, it was a well played game by the Titans against a well-established, very successful team in Wesley College, and a bright future for the Titans. The All-PAC selections were announced yesterday, so I just want to briefly give the proper recognition to the honorees. And Dad, if you have anything to add to the players, I know a lot of these players you mentioned, you say their name on every home football game, but let's go over them. Earning the first team honors were seniors defensive lineman John Fitzgerald.
John Fitzgerald from East High School, not too far from where I grew up. Always in every play. It's amazing. I don't know if you have this stat. Maybe you need one more person to keep this stat on rushing the quarterback. So many times he was on the rush that forced the errant pass or the incomplete pass, or even a tackle in the backfield. John Fitzgerald does an outstanding job, and he's in I don't know how many plays, probably 95% of the plays out there, and very proud of him.
He recorded 6.5 sacks on the season, good for 7th in the conference, and tallied 13 tackles for a loss, also good for 7th in the PAC. This was a crazy stat. The first team nod was Fitzgerald's first All-PAC honor of his career. I remember interviewing him a couple podcasts ago, and I said, it's hard to believe it. I mean, he hasn't even received honorable mention before, and I think it was well overdue and well-earned first team selection for him. Also, defensive back Miguel Luis, first team honoree. Junior linebacker Paul Gonzalez, that's another top returner, leader of our defense past couple years, and he'll come back his senior year. And also, senior Brady Hogue, offensive lineman, rounds out the first-team honorees. Junior, he's actually a junior, so he'll be back as well.
2 solid linebackers that you mentioned there. I say their names all the time, and sometimes my spotter misses them making the tackle, and I apologize for that. But, again, they're in every play. They play so hard, and it's so exciting to watch them. What they do, again, against sometimes much bigger, larger linemen, especially in this particular game. But Miguel Luis, I love that name. I love calling that name. And you play so hard. You give such a great effort. And Paul Gonzalez, what else could I say about you and how many tackles you consistently make, or at least you're where the play is. And it was a lot of fun, and very proud watching you play. And Brady Hogue, the lines, the holes that are open for your backs, the cut through. Again, you're one of the main reasons for it, and your leadership on the line. So all 4 of you deserve that award, and I'm excited to see you get those accolades that you truly deserve.
How do you say Luis?
Miguel Luis.
What's another one? What's another one of your favorite names?
Bill Madeja.
Perfect transition as we talk about the second team honorees for the Titans. We'll start off with linebacker Bill Madeja picking up the nod. In addition to Jordan Kamenos, offensive lineman, seniors, and senior Jordan Kamenos, in addition to go along with his classmate, wide receiver Bryson Paulinelli, who you mentioned before, and Aaron Pierce rounds out the second team honorees for the Titans.
All class acts. As I watch them every week, they go out there and they do not leave anything off the field. When they're done, the game is over. They've given them all.
Now, earning honorable mention for the Titans. Altogether, Titans had 16 All-PAC selections, so they definitely got recognition, respect from the fellow coaches who vote on the All-PAC selections. But earning honorable mention accolades were seniors tight end / halfback Anthony Lavati, defensive back Travis Lauster, who I'm sure you mentioned his name a lot as well.
Yes, I did.
Defensive back Marvin Liberste, or Liberes, whoever depends on you ask. All-purpose player Shamon Walker. We already talked about junior Connor Cox. He had a big game against Wesley. Defensive lineman Joey Lane, who I really feel he had a breakout year. Sophomore offensive lineman Cameron Mika, and freshman defensive back Bryce Thomas from St. Mary's, Georgia, or Mary's. What do you think?
I think St. Mary's.
Okay. But either way, coming from Georgia and getting a All PAC nod his first year, that's such a great accomplishment.
I remember Bryce Thomas. Earlier in the season, we were constantly calling his name for special teams, making the tackle, and then as he got to play more on the defensive side, he's another one. His nose is always where the ball is.
So as we wrap up the football season, Dad, what was your favorite moment besides announcing to the world that the sports information director and his wife had a beautiful daughter?
No, that was the one I was going to pick too. So as I think about it, I really can't pick one particular moment. I really enjoy watching these student athletes put their heart and soul into a game that they love. We're so much, unfortunately, with the NFL and some other sports out there where money just seems to be taking over the reason why people are playing. And in my day and age growing up, again, the big reason to play is because you love to play. And if you look at some of the athletes now that are going into the Hall of Fame, basically that was their reason. And as I watch Westminster, I just have a new appreciation, just a real new appreciation for the student athlete and how hard it has to be to go to school every day and practice every day. And then your reward is on Saturday afternoons or in the evening to play football. And I know they encourage me. So I really love doing it because I get encouraged. That I shouldn't be complaining about things that aren't going right for me. I'm looking at these athletes who are giving it all. And I know they're getting a great education, but also the memories that they'll have for playing football and giving the best effort and working together are memories that they'll have for a lifetime.
Well said. Did you write that down?
No, I think I should because
right from your heart. That's
right from my heart.
That's
Thank you.
Very authentic, and I couldn't agree more. That's one of my favorite aspects of this job is just promoting the Division III student athlete. They're not doing it for a scholarship. They're not doing it for money, and they're just doing it for pure passion. And you see that, and the football players in all the sports really, just the grind that it takes during whether that's practice or studying, and you have to be you can't be a D student and continue to compete. I mean, you have to remain eligible, which sounds funny, but at the same time, it's real. You have to stay on top of your books and classes and grades and in addition to continue to get better in your sport. And I think the Titans, that's what makes me proud to promote them and see them succeed on the court, on the field, and off of it as well. The Titans, they tied in the PAC standings for second place, and they are really one game away from winning their first conference title ever. So Coach Scott Benzel has got to be proud of his squad, and should be an exciting year next year. Are you on board next year?
Definitely, I'll be there.
We don't have to talk to your agent or anything.
No, I just work on the spotters. The mistakes I make. I just have to get a little better, making sure that they're on their game. But I do want to do a shout out before you move on, if you are, Nathan. To I look at our list of players, and when you turn that program over, the print, the font is so small. For all the players, but the reason is there's so many players on that team, and I don't know how many exactly, if there's 100 or not, because there's a lot of double numbers. So I have a shout out to those players who maybe didn't get a chance to get into a game this year, but came to practice every day and did their best on the scout team and did their best to get the team ready. So my shout outs to those players because, again, that's a lot of work for maybe not getting to get in a game where they really wanted to get into. So my shout-outs to them, and I encourage them, and I thank you again for making Westminster football as great as it was this year. So we're proud of you guys. Hang in there, and again, no one should ever hang their head low because your head should be high because you did the best that you could do, and that's all you could ask for, and we know your future is bright.
Next up is the men's basketball team. Their season is underway. They're 1-2 right now. But don't look at the record. They played Division II, not only Division II team, who offer scholarships, but they were nationally ranked in Indiana University of PA. They played on Monday. Senior Marco DiLorenzo, one of our great practicum students this fall, he scored 22 points, which was one shy of a career high, to go along with a career high 5 3-pointers that I remember you spotted for me one time, right, for a basketball game back in the day?
Yeah, one and gone.
How was that experience?
That was pretty good. I had a little mix up on the numbers, who made the shot, who made the pass, who had the assist, who had the rebound. It is a fast flowing game, so that was the only game that you let me do.
Thanks for putting it on me. Now, you're just talking about how the spotters for football, did that make you appreciate spotting a little more? I know it's a different game. It's a little more fast-paced, but did it make you appreciate the spotting position?
Oh, most definitely. As a fan, as you just watch where the ball is. You don't think about anything else, and you just watch. You don't really think too much even who made the tackle. But as a spotter, you really have to be on your game to really be prepared as well. So when you see these numbers popping up, who made the tackle or who deflected the pass or recovered the fumble, that you're able to catch on it pretty quick. And I do. Basketball, to me, is a little bit harder. I mean, again, you have less players, but to record who made the assist, because you're not even sure he's going to make the basket or not, but then you got to keep in mind, all right, who passed him the ball. So there was a little bit too much mental gymnastics for me to do that.
So back to the Titans real quick. They opened the season, Buzz Road Classic, which I mentioned that I had to leave the ECAC football game for. But they beat Define 67-60, and that was a great night. They announced the Ron Galbraith court change. The official dedication will come in a to-be-determined date, but it was a great night. Both families, Buzz Riddle's family, along with Ron Galbraith's family, was there. And great photo opportunity to make that announcement. So it was great for them to open up with a win. They lost to SUNY Geneseo on Saturday, and like I mentioned, they lost to Division II Indiana University of PA. Now tonight, one thing, head coach Kevin Soroki, the non-conference games that he's scheduled this year, I mean, every year for the past few years, they always like to play Youngstown State, Division I. That's talk about great competition and just kind of seeing where your team's at, playing somebody, with that type of skill and, once again, players with a scholarship. And I think they're individual battles, okay? I don't think anyone's expecting, hey, it could happen. It was close last year. I was there last year. They were winning Titans were winning at halftime. But at the same time, I think it's kind of a game within a game. If Austin Armwood, drains a three in front of a guy who has a full ride at a school, it's like, hey, if I could do that against you, I could do that against, future competition.
I agree with that. And, to be the best, you have to play the best. And I think a lot of times these schools, especially these Division I schools who play the sisters of the poor teams to build up their record, and I think it's a mistake. I think you need to be playing competition that's going to raise your game.
You know a little bit about Youngstown State, don't you?
Well, we call it the Youngstown State, but yes, I do.
What's your affiliation?
Well, I have actually all my degrees are from there. My final degree was my doctorate degree. So when I grew up, my brother attended YSU for a few years, and he used to take me to the basketball games, and that was really big time down there. I really enjoyed that.
When was your last basketball game there?
Last basketball game. I can't even remember. Actually, when YSU quickly, when they started playing basketball, or started having really be big time, they used to play at the old South High field house, and they used to be packed all the time. Dom Roselli, who's in the Hall of Fame at YSU, and he probably is in the Basketball Hall of Fame as well. He was a coach back then, and his teams were always outstanding. But the love for basketball at YSU is still there. For the
season, DiLorenzo, he leads the Titans in points, 11.3, and also who has double digits is senior Austin Armwood with 11.0. On the glass, we have Blake Payne, who's really, you could tell he put emphasis on working out this offseason. He is a beast in the middle. He leads the Titans on the glass with 5.7 boards. And DiLorenzo, he's right there with 5.0. So great start for the Titans. Great competition early on.
All right, I want to give a little shout out to those players that maybe aren't starting. It's the players that are practicing every day, playing hard, still going to school, getting their grades up. Hang in there. I encourage you. You're gonna get there. Just keep working hard.
Next up is the women's basketball team. They are 2-2 early in this 2018-19 season. They started out with 2 losses, but they've regrouped and they've won 2 straight, including their home opener last night against Pitt Greensburg. They won 59-46. Junior Emily Fromnick, she is now 2 blocks away for the school record, tying the school record with Erica Tallo. She's off to a great start. She's averaging 15.3 points per game, which is a team high. Right behind her is Jackie Matthews. Have you been to a women's basketball game here yet?
I believe I did one for you as well.
Was that the one that you spotted? You spotted twice?
Yeah, I did a men's. I think they're consecutive games. So, but getting back to the young lady, she needs 2 more blocks to set the record.
That is correct. To tie the record.
To tie the record, and we're only in the 5th game of the season.
That's correct. And she's only a junior.
That's unheard of. I would not want to try to shoot the ball over her.
Absolutely not. So the Titans. We talked about how the men's team plays tonight at YSU. The women's team, they don't play again until Monday, November 26th at Allegheny College. So a nice little break for the Titans. Hopefully they'll go home and rest up. And that's the thing with one thing that a lot of people don't appreciate. A lot of these teams, these winter teams, they practice during break. They might, hopefully they get to go home and have Thanksgiving dinner. But at the same time, I know they're here practicing when everyone else, including us, we're technically, off work after 12 today and, don't have to come back until Monday. But I know they're here grinding and when no one's watching.
That's what a lot of coaches say. They say it's everyone practices at the same time, but the difference is those that practice when the other ones aren't practicing. That'll become better.
Our final winter sport that's in season is a swimming and diving team. The men's team, they're 4-0 in dual meets, and with the most recent victory, it was last Wednesday, they beat PAC Washington Jefferson in their conference opener 137-90. They're, like I said, undefeated. The women's team is 3-2, so still a winning record, and they defeated W&J as well. And then this past Saturday, they defeated Chatham 169-125. When's the last swim meet you've been to, Pops?
I've been in a few, but I can't.
Besides the YMCA,
I can't think of any. But as you were talking about that, Nathan, why do you think swim meets are held in the winter? When you think swimming, you think more warmer weather. Why do you think they hold them in the winter? What do you think about that?
Probably it's Western PA. It's a Western PA sport. I don't know if there's other, Florida teams. Maybe they host them. I know the swim team. They'll practice during their winter break. They'll go down to Florida. Actually, they're going to California this year, which is pretty sweet. So it's warmer weather there. But I don't know if it's generally a winter sport. I'm guessing it is, but I wonder if it depends on where your location is.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Why do it during the winter? It seems like you come out and you're cold and good chance of getting sick. So maybe, but anyways, it works. And plus, to go to California is pretty nice. And you could swim outside.
We used to have a pool one.
Mm-hmm, we did. Yeah, I think our children.
Aren't you going to revive it?
We're thinking about it. We'll see. We'll see.
What are the stages?
We're still on stage, ground level. We're still with the sand, so we're moving our way, getting closer.
You got to start with foundation. That's the most important part.
The foundation, that's correct. Then we get the chemicals.
So highlighting for the women's swimming and diving team, junior Abigail Jones. She finished first in the 200-yard breaststroke and earned second in 200-yard IM against the Cougars of Chatham, and she also swam in the Titans' first-place 200 medley relay. Sophomore Connor May for the men's team, diver, All-American. He finished second in the 1 meter with a score of 490.20 at Carnegie Mellon Invitational, and he also placed in the 3 meter. Also placed second in 3 meter with a score of 524.75.
Nathan, you know what interests me about swimming is when they're in their competition, they take no breaks. In other sports, you at least have a timeout, or the play's not coming to your side. But in swimming, it is full go until you're done. So it's an amazing sport, and it's really fun to watch.
Where'd you learn how to swim?
I learned how to swim over on the north side. There's a north side pool, and I think it's still over there. And sooner or later, I decided to go into the deeper water, started to learn how to tread water, and by the time I was 42, I learned how to swim. No, I learned how to swim a little earlier than that, but still, yeah, it's one of those things you have a lot of fear about it, but you do have to learn, and that's how I learned.
Do you remember where I learned?
I don't know. Every time we went during the summer, we went to someplace that had a pool just so we could teach you to swim. I think it was in New York.
Seneca Hills.
Seneca Hills. Yep, not too far from here.
I passed. I wouldn't say I got an A. I pretty much doggy paddled the whole way, like real close to the corner there. But I don't know how long I would last in the deep end of an ocean.
Well, that's why you learn to float on your back. That's the key.
You got that down. I don't have that.
That's the key. Yeah, sometimes I can even fall asleep floating on my back, but that could be dangerous.
Is Mom a pretty good swimmer?
Yeah, she is good. She learned from her dad. Her dad, Grandpa Dale was a Marine, and he was very good. And so I think the whole family knows how to swim.
You need that skill when you're out there fishing, on the boat, and if you get sick, you need to jump out in the ocean and take a break.
Yeah, you don't want to
recoup.
You don't want to mess on yourself.
So finishing out the swimming and diving team recap, the Titans, they're back in the pool Thursday, November 29th through the Saturday, December 1st at the Worcester Invitational. Now, we are honored to be joined by assistant men's basketball coach Deontay Scott. Deontay, thank you for joining us this morning.
How y'all doing? I'm glad to be here.
Sorry for waking you up on my reminder call / text, but you're here. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm sorry I'm a little late.
No, you're good. They don't know. We'll tease the interview that it's coming late, so they don't know when you show up until we just announced it now. But it's all good. Deontay, first of all, so you're a four-year starter here for the Titans, 3-time All-PAC honoree, and you just couldn't get enough of the Titans, could you? You came back right away as the assistant coach. You're now the GA. How does that transition work, and how's it going so far?
The transition is kind of challenging a little because like you said, I was a player literally like last year, so like I played with most of these guys, so like we have a different relationship. Like the players, like say if like something's going bad, they always turn to me first, like what's going on, 'cause like we got that relationship. So I'm like, I tell them like I'm a coach, I can't be like telling you all the insides and stuff. So that's kind of challenging and stuff. But overall, I like it. It's a great experience. I didn't know I would get into coaching, but now that I have a few months under my belt, it's actually not that bad. I like going on the road, recruiting different players, going to see different families. I like traveling. So honestly, it's a great gig.
I'm glad you brought that up with the transition of, kind of coaching now your teammates. Last year, example, Austin Armo and Marco De Lorenzo, who started along with you. How does that dynamic work now that you're kind of on that same level, but now you're slightly above, a little more authority, to them. How does that relationship work, and how does that adapt?
Honestly, like I said, it was a tough transition though, but honestly, it wasn't that bad because as a player, I was the guy, you could say. So I was the captain. Everybody looked up to me. So I already had that bond, like everybody looking up to me, everybody like look at me for like advice and like energy and stuff. So like as a coach, I just bring the same thing, but as a bigger role. You mentioned recruiting as well, and enjoying that traveling, meeting people, meeting families, and what a better testament it is to a recruit saying, "Hey, I just played her 4 years. I was successful, and I've decided to continue on. To give back now to student athletes. What does that mean to you? Being able to say that to potential recruits." Yeah, like I said, I like going out recruit because like you said, I just got done playing, so I have that relationship like where I can tell players like if they think they're Division One or think they're Division Two, I can tell my Division Three is actually competitive as well. Everybody think Division Three is like a glorified high school, but it's not. So when I go out there and recruit players who I know who should Division Three level, I just tell them like, listen, when I came out of high school, I thought I was Division One. I thought I was Division Two, but in reality, you just gotta know like, oh, all right, I'm a D3 level player, and it's like I said, D3 is competitive. You got St. Vincent is always a powerhouse. I mean, Thomas More not in our conference no more, but there was a powerhouse. So you gonna see players that's really good. So that's like my main thing. Like when I go out there and recruit, like I just tell them like, you was a great fit in our program. You can help us a lot, and I try to like use like my past experiences. Like I said, I'm just a player. I try to use my past experience. How like I come from a small background. You can come to like an area like this and make a big impact. Honestly.
You mentioned East High School, so I don't know if you remember this story, but I think it was last year or maybe the year before. It was during Pitcher Day, and I was kind of introducing myself. I was like, "Hey, Deontay, I'm from Youngstown too." And you're like, "Oh, really? Where?" And I'm like, "Well, I grew up in Austintown. Now I live in Poland." And you kind of looked at me like, "Nah, man, you ain't from Youngstown." Now, but listen though, my special co-host today, my pops. Guess where he grew up?
East Side.
East Side, Bennington Avenue, right down the road from East Side.
Oh, that's right down. That's the same street as East High.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
So I think this is a perfect transition. That my pops here, he has some trivia for you about the East Side. So, let's get right into that.
Yeah. So Deontay, it's fun having you here, and when I found out I was going to be able to be on the show, and you were going to be on, and coming from East High School, and some call it the East High School. Just a few trivia questions. Now, some of these may be before your time.
Yeah.
So you may have, I'm sure it's one time or another, you guys were eating lunch talking about this stuff. So here's the first question. I bet you know this one, though. The East Side once had a shopping mall and a full-size bowling alley attached to it. What was the name of either the mall or the bowling alley? Not too far from, a little south of East Side. Anyways, it's called McGuffey.
Oh,
McGuffey.
You're supposed to give a clue.
If you go by, well, I said it's not too far. If you look at it now, it's just big parking lot with weeds growing and so on. But something new is going to come there. I'm gonna share this one. This is kind of a basketball question. The East Side has produced many outstanding athletes, such as yourself. Mm-hmm. This particular athlete was famous for playing basketball at Ohio State at a time where very few African American players even made the team. Okay. Now, besides only living 2 houses down from where I lived, where I grew up, what did his dad build in his backyard for him and his brother?
I'm assuming the basketball hoop.
Basketball court. He had a cement pad basketball court. There was a full court, and we used to go down there and play there a lot. So, anyways, his name was Benny Allison.
I heard that name before.
Benny Allison. He's a doctor. I'm not sure he's retired yet or not. Great family. All right, so you're 0 for 2. All right,
you got that one. I'll give him half point.
Give me half
point.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, I'll just give you a couple more. I'll give you one gimme. All right, this one. Before the days of Pizza Hut, Papa John's, and Little Caesars, the East Side had a popular pizza place that still exists today. I'll give you a hint. It's by the railroad tracks going towards the north side. North side might claim it for
LaRiccia?
themselves. LaRiccia. There you go.
There it is. There it is.
All right, should we do the last one, Nate?
Let's do it.
Do it. Okay, the East Side had produced many outstanding athletes. Again, this particular athlete was famous for playing football at Westminster and was recently named on the D3Footballs.com Team of the Week. You better get this.
Fitz?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, John Fitzgerald.
John Fitzgerald.
Very good. You did a nice job with that.
Thank you.
Appreciate you playing along. The first ever here on the Buzz, the East Side Trivia. Let's go back real quick to coaching first year here, right out of graduating and playing 4 years here, and really leaving your mark. You're 20th all time in points. I'm sure you knew that. You had 1,227 career points. You earned your 1,000th career point last year at none other than Youngstown State.
Wow.
So that was pretty special. What do you remember about that game? And do you remember? I'm pretty sure I was there. and I think it was from a free throw that you earned your 1,000. But what was your thoughts going in, and then once you realized you got your 1,000th career point?
Yeah, I'm gonna start. I don't mean to correct you, but my 1,000 came off like we ran and play. We call it Texas. I remember the whole thing. We ran Texas, and like Marco set the screen, and he set a great screen. Like he made me open, and then Austin threw a great pass, and I laid it up. And that's why I got my 1,000 point. And like I didn't know I scored my 1,000 point. Like, cause like I was into in the game, cause like we were competing with Division I YSU. I think at the time we was only losing by like 2 points, 4, and like we had a 9-point lead. So like throughout the whole game, I really wasn't thinking about it. I'm thinking about we could beat these guys. So throughout the game, I'm just playing hard, and like I get my 5th foul because I was playing too hard. Get my 5th foul, and I got to the bench, and I turned around to the crowd. Someone said, "Slop, you got your 1,000 point," because they was putting all on Twitter and stuff. Because I didn't know. And I did the math in my head because I knew I needed 18 points.
Right.
And I looked on the board, I had 18. I'm like, oh, I did get my 1,000 point. And that's when I just started telling everybody on the bench. And they was like, oh, congrats, Slop. So it was a great experience. Honestly, I had it was good to do it in Youngstown because I'm from Youngstown. So like I said, it's a great experience. Mm-hmm. After the game, everybody was congratulating me. Everybody actually congratulated us after the game because like I said, we had D1 YSU on the ropes. So it was a great game.
When we talked about that in the pregame, how you just finished up a game at nationally ranked Division II IUP, and now you're at YSU tonight Division I. How does that experience work? I mean, I mentioned it's kind of individual battles. Your players, they shoot a 3, they make a 3 over a guy with a full ride scholarship, and it's nothing but that. That has to build confidence, going into conference play and later into the season.
Yeah, our head coach Kevin Soroka made a good point the other day. He said the reason we play these tough teams like D2, nationally ranked D2 IUP, YSU. We also got Ashton on the schedule. They're D2. We play these teams because like you said, it makes us more fit for pack play. That's the end goal. I mean, obviously you want to win these non-conference games, but we schedule these like tough non-conference games because, like you said, we want to get ready for the pack. So if we're playing against these, like you said, we're playing against these scholarship athletes, we should be ready to play against, no disrespect, Chatham, the St. Vincent's, the Teals, because the talent level is like you playing against nationally ranked players, and then you playing against the PSC. You should be definitely ready.
If you want to be the best, you gotta beat the best.
Beat the best.
Yes.
But that is not this year's slogan. This year's slogan is "Do more, say less." Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Who thought of that? Coach Soroki?
Oh, Austin Armwood.
Armwood,
Senior
okay.
captain.
So each year is it something? I remember. Is Titan family still a thing? Is that still strong?
We still one big family.
Okay.
But like each year, we always come up with a slogan, and that's what we play by. I think last year it was "Gotta get it, gotta go." I think.
Okay.
The year before that, I remember we had a slogan called "No More." We take no more, like no more BS, no more losses. Like this year, the slogan like "Do more, say less" is about like how last year we had a really great team. You had me, you had Jared Vrabel, who was a 1,000-point scorer. You had a transfer Cam Kane, who transferred to YSU. So we had a really good team, and like throughout the whole season, we was talking about especially when we started on 9-1, we competed with D1 YSU and lost them by 8 points. When we competed them, we was like, oh, we really could win the pack this year. And we were just talking about it, but we didn't perform. We didn't get the pack. So this year, Austin come up with the slogan "Do more, say less," because like we need to stop talking. We just need to just do it.
So I'm still waiting for my "Do more, say less" T-shirt. My office is across the hall from the president. Okay. So whenever you guys get a chance.
Okay.
I know you're busy now.
I'm a coach now, so I can bring some.
You got
beer.
that connection now.
I take a double X.
Okay.
Now you mentioned you referred yourself as Slop. People talking to you Slop. I know you get asked this a lot, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer. But when we were during our prep, I was mentioning to my dad their nickname Slop. I think I know the answer, but I know you would explain it a lot better. How did you get that nickname, and what does that mean?
So like I said, everybody called me Slop. Everybody knows that. But in high school, we were playing against this team called Warren Hardin. Warren Hardin, that's when Warren Hardin had them like trees down low. They had 6'9", 6'8", 6'7", and I'm only 6'3" at the best. So we're playing against them. It's a good game, and I get the ball in the post. Like I'm a post player at 6'3". I play hard, And like I said, a 6'9" kid is watching me. So like I get the ball in the post and like I really can't make a good post move because he's just standing straight up. So like I throw up the craziest shot ever. I just threw it up. It was a sloppy shot. And it went in. So everybody at the game, like next day in class, when I went to class, everybody's like, Slop, from that shot you made, we're gonna call you Slop. So I thought it was just a classroom joke. When they got everybody in the whole school to call me Slop, I just stuck with it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was just a cool nickname. So every time I meet somebody, I say like, "Hi, my name's Deontay Scott," but everybody calls me Slop.
Right.
So it started off as a high school classroom thing, turned to a high school, like even at high school basketball games, they made Slop signs and everything, like Slop show, all the other like slogans. And like I said, when I came to Westminster, I just continued it. Like everybody called me Slop.
What was your nickname at East, Pops?
I don't remember what it was. I had a few names, but probably can't say
nothing
them
you
right
can
now.
say on the air.
But getting back to that, the slop. I mean, the positive thing about it, the shot went in.
Yeah.
So just imagine if they calling you slop and the shot didn't go in. There'd be a little bit of negative connotation there. But I just want to ask you a quick question. I know Nathan's got to get going here. Going back from being a player to being a coach, one of my favorite saying is sometimes we get so close to the trees we can't see the forest. And a lot of players are like that. They can't see the bigger picture. But now you've got to see both sides. You get to see the trees and you see the forest. Do you sometimes, in talking to players, you start thinking, oh, that was me last year? Or do you feel a different way in talking to players now because of what you've experienced, the transition?
So that's honestly that what you just said is probably the hardest point for me. And like as a player, I feel like I'm sorry. As a coach, when I look at it as a player aspect, like I'm like, oh, I'm more talented than these guys. So like I'm like, oh, I can do this. I can do that. I should be like, it shouldn't be that hard. And I got to take into consideration, like I'm talking to a sophomore who ain't really played that much last year. I'm talking to a junior that came off the bench and played after me. So I got to take things into consideration because like as a player, you would think like, oh, all right, you should be able to do this because I did it. But as a coach, you really got to sit down and tell them like what they have to do to make it like to be successful on the court.
Yeah, that's what makes. That's why they say, and if you look in all the major sports, the toughest, the best coaches are usually coaches that weren't the all-stars because they knew what it was like. But there are coaches out there that were all-stars. Yeah. They just had to learn to kind of back up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Slop real quick. Do you go by Coach Slop or do you go Coach Scott? Like how do you refer yourself as?
In the professional way, I be trying to tell everybody call me Coach Scott
right.
or Coach like Deontay, but everybody call me Coach Slop. So I'm fine with it.
Even the freshmen, they catch on like, wait, your name's Slop. It's not Coach Scott.
Yeah,
they're calling you Slop.
Everybody call me Coach Scott. Coach Slop.
Along those same lines, I know you talked about the transition of now coaching your teammates who you played along with in the past 4 years. How does that transition now almost, be on that coaching level? I know Coach Kevin Soroki, very intense coach, very passionate coach. Do you have more, of permission, I guess I should, I don't know if that's the right word, to talk back, if that makes sense? Not like in an argumentative way, but kind of have that same voice more than just say, yes, sir, I'll do, better next time. But now it's like, hey, I think, we should do this, talk about that transition.
No, like he said, like when we sat down when he told me the role, told me my position, he wanted me to be the grad assistant coach. Honestly, there's not like, all right, he says everything and I just listen. Like, no, it's actually like a communicate. Like we like when we sit down and talk about practice players, I gave my ideas, he gave his ideas, and we compare. Even during games, we had 3 games so far. Like he made the final decision with the subs, but me and Coach D tell him like who should be in the game, who should be playing right now, and then he make the final decision, cause like he's the head coach, so like that's his role. Like me and Coach D, the other assistant, we give him the ideas, we tell him like what we should do, and as the head coach, he make the final decision. And so that's how it's pretty much what it is.
Now, have you listened to this podcast before?
Honestly,
Did
no.
you know this existed?
Honestly, no. I'm sorry.
This is like our 3rd year strong.
I'm sorry.
No, it's actually their 5th episode ever. But, neither here or there. So, my dad knows what's next, though. We have
lightning round.
Lightning round, rapid fire. So, we have, my dad has 10 questions. I have 10 questions. We'll take turns, get a closer look into learning a little more about Coach Scott, a.k.a. Coach Slop. And we ready to roll?
I think we're ready.
You want to take honors?
You only have like 2 seconds to give the answer, or we say slop. All right, here we go.
You got the soundbite ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'll go first. Favorite teacher in high school?
I was about to say Dr. Andrews, but Mr. Andrews.
Last song you downloaded?
Ooh. Can I say it on air?
I mean, maybe not the full word if it's not appropriate.
It's a YG song. It's called Swoohoo.
Okay.
Favorite go-to food on Thanksgiving?
Oh, the turkey.
If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
See, junior year in high school, because I would do a lot of things differently.
To win the game on the last play, would you rather take a 30-footer or block the shot?
Take a 30-footer.
Favorite quote besides "Do more, say less"?
The sky isn't just the limit; it's the requirement.
Would you rather be best looking or the wisest?
The wisest.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate.
Would you rather be the richest or the happiest?
The happiest.
All right, follow along with this one. My wife thought this one was wordy, but when people stand up for a standing ovation, are you usually one of the earlier people to stand up or one of the later?
The earliest.
You start the ovation. You start clapping.
Yeah.
Favorite saying?
Favorite saying? I'll probably say that quote I just said. The sky isn't just the limit, but it's the requirement.
Yeah, we didn't go over each other's questions, but great minds think alike. Now, this is a goofy one, but it's still a fun one. Would you rather come face to face with a miniature hippopotamus or a giant cockroach, and both are in a bad mood? Are you afraid of insects or snakes or sharks or anything like that?
I mean, honestly, no, because I never came across one like that. But I'll probably say the hippo.
Okay, I think that's what Fitz picked too. He was a guest too. Check out the archives.
Okay, if you had been drafted by the NBA, would you rather go to a team with all stars or a team where you'd be the only star?
Honestly, I'd probably say a team where I'm the only star. Cause like when you play the other teams, you gotta compete, and you gotta really show them like, oh, I can play on the level just as y'all.
If you could tell your high school self one thing, what would it be?
I could tell my high school people one thing. College will be hard. College will be very hard.
Okay, over and under. How many will listen to this podcast? 10 being the over and under.
Over.
It's Slop Nation. Come on.
All right, so everybody gonna listen.
Absolutely.
Well, I have one more to that. Over and under. How many from your team will be listening? With the number being 3.
Oh, it's gonna be more than 3. So I guess
it's gonna be a requirement. Road trip to Youngstown. That's what we're gonna put on the speakers.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, dogs or cats?
Dogs.
And this is my last question. It's been said that if you find a job that you love, that you will never work in your life, what would that job be for you?
I'm sorry, if I had a job.
Yep. If you had a job that you had, some say that you will never work a day in your life. What would that job be for you? That you love it so much that you wouldn't even want to be paid?
That's not a trick question either.
This is the serious side of us.
Being an NBA player, I mean,
Okay.
playing basketball for the rest of your life, I'd love to do that, but in reality, I won't.
Do you have a favorite team?
Favorite team? Honestly, no. I just have favorite players. Like I'm a huge LeBron fan.
Are you? Man, too bad Nick's not here. He's a LeBron hater. He is. Give him a hard time next time you see him.
Let me guess, he like Kobe.
Probably. Typical millennial. And one thing, I have 2 more questions. But one thing, Nick, before I forget, he wanted me to ask you if you have your keys, if you remembered your house keys.
I called because I left my wallet. Cause this is my first time ever living in a dorm.
Right.
Like when I went to Westminster, I had my own apartment.
Okay.
So you need your car access.
Right.
You need your time card. So I leave it a few times, but when I look in the parking lot, I see Nick cars already. And only number I have is Nick. So I just call Nick. He open the door for me, please.
There you go. He's a good guy. He's a good dude. So last couple questions. What movie can you watch on repeat for the rest of your life?
Stump the Yard.
Stump the Yard. I'll have to check that one out. And then also, I thought this was one of your questions, but
I did 2 at one time.
Gotcha. What are you most thankful for?
Most thankful for? Honestly, the opportunity to come to Westminster, I think coming to Westminster really changed my life. When I came out of high school, honestly, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was a smart kid, 4.2 GPA. Everybody telling me like, oh, cause all I knew growing up was work. So when I graduated high school, that's all I did. I didn't go to college my first year out of high school. I went to go work. So I didn't know, and that's where everybody telling me you should be in college. College is a good like avenue. So that's when I came to, I found out Westminster, and I came here, and honestly, it just like changed my life. So I'm really thankful to be being like a student, like a graduate now from Westminster.
So how did you find out about Westminster?
The assistant coach, he's not here no more. His name was Chevis Whipple. That was his first year. That was his first year. My first year was his first year. That's when he got the assistant coach job. He knew I was a basketball player, and he knew I would get in Westminster because I was smart. Like I said, I had a 4.2 GPA. So he texted me it was one day over the summer. He texted me like, "Do you want to play college basketball?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" Because like I said, I didn't have the intention to play college basketball. All I knew was work, so I was working at the time. But I knew I was good enough to play basketball anywhere. I didn't know what level. I didn't know what level D3 was. I mean, at Westminster, I didn't know it was D3. But I just knew it was the opportunity to play basketball. So I said, "Yeah, I play." I came up here for a visit. I mean, when I seen the Amish buggies, I was like, "Oh, I don't know where I'm at." And like honestly, I didn't know Westminster was just this close to Youngstown. So it's only about like a half an hour drive at most. So I'm like, "Oh, it's not that far from home." And I came up here I didn't know what to expect. But since the first day of classes, everybody it's one big family here, and I just loved it.
Mm-hmm. So you graduated. You're a mathematics major.
Yeah.
Were you hoping to? I mean, what is your? I know you're coaching now. Did you want to be a teacher? You still want to be a teacher? You know, how does that work?
Like I said, like I'm coaching. Like I like the coaching jig right now. Like coaching is really fun. But honestly, if coaching don't work out, yeah, I want to go back into teaching. But even when I'm teaching, I still can be a basketball coach on the high school level. So it's the same. Like
right. I mean, you're coaching. I mean, you're teaching now while coaching at the same time. Mm-hmm. Now, what's your favorite? I mean, are you like algebra 2?
I'm more of an algebra guy. I don't like geometry.
No, not so much. Not so much formulas, right? Or is that formulas?
No, algebra is more like formulas.
So you like formulas?
Like geometry is like the shapes.
I gotcha. Yeah. It's been a while since that. So you're all about that formulas, crunching those numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was Dr. Andrews a math teacher?
Mr. Andrews, yeah, he was a math teacher.
Teacher.
Yeah.
So he kind of turned you on to math.
Honestly, yeah, he made that transition for me, like, cause I had him my junior senior in high school, and because people don't know this either about me. My first 2 years in high school, I went to Cheney, and then when they combined all the high schools in Youngstown to one, like if you wanted to play sports, you had to go to East.
Right.
So that's why I went to East my junior year, and I met Mr. Andrews, and when I met the passion he had for math, the way he taught the class,
wow.
It made me like, oh, I want to do math.
Mm-hmm. So you think someday you may go back to East to be the teacher?
People ask me that. Honestly, if the opportunity is there, I will. Mm-hmm. Honestly, when I get done with my masters or whatever opportunity is open for me, I'm gonna take it. It don't matter if I have to move, cause like I never like. As far as I've been, I mean, I know like my sophomore year went to New York for a basketball tournament, but as far as I've ever been personally, this past summer I went to Rhode Island for a vacation. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I haven't really been nowhere. So if I have to move, I won't mind moving.
Right. So
whatever opportunity is there, when the time comes, I'm gonna take.
That's great.
If you haven't noticed, my dad's his interest is in education. He's a principal for how long now?
20 years as principal, 20 years as teacher, so 40 years.
Okay.
So I've been around.
So you've taught in Youngstown right before?
Yeah, I taught in Youngstown for 10 years, and I was principal at Eagle Heights for 3 years, and North Junior High, which is now I think an elementary building, I coached over there.
Okay.
So I have some good background in Youngstown.
You still live in the Youngstown area?
I live in Austin Town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not too far.
You're gonna get that look again. Don't say you don't live in Youngstown.
That's not Youngstown.
Now let's wrap up here. So you're 1-2 right now, but like we mentioned, tough competition. I think you really see what you're made of when PAC play comes, but at the same time, this tough competition, I think will only make you better. Mm-hmm. So what are your expectations for tonight against YSU and for the rest of the year?
Honestly, tonight from YSU, they're going to press us like they did last year. They're going to put their tall. They got a 6'9" kid. They're going to put it on top of the diamond press, so they're going to press us. But if we handle the press, honestly, we might do what we did last year and really compete with these guys. Like, cause we got a senior level point guard. I know he's going to be a great leader out there. We have a few guards out there that's going to help him. If we handle the press, honestly, we might hang with them.
What are your Thanksgiving plans.
Yeah. My Thanksgiving plans. I'm going to my girlfriend texted me like 2 days ago. She said, "Oh, we're going to my aunt Charlie house. Aunt Charlie, like, she cooks a great meal, so that's where I'll be at my Thanksgiving. It's in Youngstown, so not going too far."
What? How many? Because I was talking about before you joined us, and how all people don't understand when the college is closed, quote unquote, the winter sports. I mean, they keep going. They don't close practice. So what's your practice schedule like during the break?
So like tonight, like I said, we have a game.
Yep.
Yesterday we practiced, like, when people was going home packing, like going home for Thanksgiving break. We was here 6 to 9, 3 hours. Today we have lunch at 12, get some little shots up. Then we 4 o'clock we got a pregame meal. Then we heading over to Youngstown around 5. Tomorrow the players get off because it's Thanksgiving, it's the holiday. But next Friday we got to be back here at 3 o'clock because we have practice. Cause we have a game Saturday. So while everybody's still at home hanging with their family, our guys are coming back Friday eat in the afternoon, get ready for practice. And then we have a game, I think, against Franciscan Saturday.
Right.
And then Sunday we got practice again, because we got a game Monday. So we're while everybody on break, we here practicing. Then winter break, it's all bad. As a player, I didn't get a winter break, and now as a coach, I'm probably still won't get a winter break because I'm still going to be here.
Right.
While everybody at home during winter break, the semester's over, finals over, you get a relief. I mean, our players can breathe because we don't have classes, but they still got basketball.
Right. Keep on grinding. My dad brought up a good point with, it's almost like, what are you doing when no one else is practicing or playing? If they're just like, well, just take the weekend off. It's the holidays. It's what you're doing when no one's watching, and it's all getting that competitive advantage.
Yeah.
I just got 2 more points before you, and if you want to edit it later on, you can. Don't forget always to go back and thank your teachers. Again, sometimes it's taken for granted, but they really appreciate that if you go back and say thanks. The other thing is, I thought of this for the lightning round. I know it's kind of late. Maybe you could edit it in. What's the highest number of suicides that your coach ever had you run in one practice?
So in Westminster, we didn't run. We didn't really. That's the difference from high school and college practices. You really don't run that much in college practice. It's more like game planning and scouting. You watch more film. But in high school, the most suicides I ran, we probably ran I think it was close to 50. So it's not. I mean, that's not that much. I don't know if that's a lot, but
that's a lot.
That's a lot of suicides. 50 suicides.
Yeah, 1 is too many for me.
Yeah.
So do you miss doing that? Miss running a lot during practice?
No. Do not miss it.
Go ahead.
I mean, I know you need to run because you gotta be in shape. So obviously I had to do it, but I didn't like it.
One question I do want to ask is, do you ever suit up during practice if as the scout team or represent that big power forward?
Yeah, yes, I definitely suit up because the guys, I mean, they still talk talk smack. So I really put on the jersey and I really got to show them I'm still a slop. I might have gained a few, but I'm still a slop.
I can still do damage.
Yeah.
Did you get that? Did you get that itch that first game? Buzzroll Classic. How weird was it just to stay on the bench? Not be in uniform.
I mean, it was definitely weird. A few people after the game was telling me you look like a player that'd be benched for the rest of your life. I was just I look sad on the sideline, so I came with a different approach the second game than obviously the game on Tuesday because like I said, I was sitting on the bench, I wasn't really coaching. I was looking at the player wow, I really can't get in. So it hurt me a little, but it was just the first game. Now I grew out. Now I'm actually a coach. I'm telling players what they should be doing and stuff like that. So
that is true. You're a 4-year starter. So did you even know what those seats felt like? Did you know how comfortable they could be?
Yeah, not like that. Cause when I got subbed out for a few minutes. I'm going right back in.
You didn't get too comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate Deontay stopping by. I know it's a busy day for you, a long night with practice and the game tonight at YSU. So go out and support your Titans. But thanks for joining us. I know the Titans are happy to have you on board. Even after graduating, leaving your mark here. And, thanks again. And thanks for representing Youngstown well as well.
Hashtag Eastside Pride.
Eastside. Thank you. I really appreciate being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for this Thanksgiving break, my favorite time or my favorite thing about it is family, being with family, just appreciating what we have and the blessings we've been given. So we want to give a shout out to my awesome mom and your
beautiful wife.
And she was gracious enough to I don't know if allow is the right word.
Yeah, allow is the perfect word
for Dad to fill in here, and we really appreciate it. Now, growing up, I remember the day before Thanksgiving was all hands on deck. Everyone had a room or two to get the house ready to host. So really appreciate Mom not only listening. I mean, you and Mom are definitely top listeners, top followers of this buzz. Even though you weren't aware of last week's podcast, but I didn't send you the direct link, so I'll have to teach you how to find it on your own. But thanks, Mom, for all you do. Not just allowing Dad to be on this podcast and just enjoying this time with one another, but all your sacrifices that you make and the love and prayers that you have for me.
Amen. Love you, Bets. And also we want a little shout out for Lauren, Nathan's beautiful wife, also at home right now taking care of Lily. Again, people don't realize the sacrifices that wives give throughout the business of sports in particular. We're talking about the coaches practicing over the weekends and over holidays, and a lot of times it's the moms and the wives that have to hold the fort while they're at practice, and it's during the holiday season. So I want to shout out to all of them as well for being there, even though sometimes you're not appreciated or at least told that you're appreciated. I want you to know that you are appreciated. So thank you very much.
Yep, love you, Lauren and Lily. So real quick, back to Thanksgiving. Not a big crowd, not a huge crowd this year. We were used to having 30, 40 people, and this past couple of years it's been a little lower. But what is your house ready? I know Aunt Peggy, Uncle Bill, Dylan. They're kind of the outside. Besides our core group, which is still big enough, a big party. Are you ready for this year's Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I think we're getting ready. Again, I'm here now, and everybody else is working at the house. But I think sounds like they're getting ready. And again, we're so excited to have Bill, Peggy, and Dylan with us. The only drawback is they're Bears fans, so we're still going to love them through Thanksgiving. But we're excited to have them there, and it's going to be another great Thanksgiving having you guys over, and Rachel, Todd, and Brookie, Gracie, Ambrielle, and Nate and Michelle are coming in later tonight. So a lot of information for a lot of people who have no idea who I'm talking about. But you know what I'm talking about, because I'm sure you're going to have a lot of great people coming into your home as well to celebrate and be thankful to our Lord and Savior.
You're just talking to the future listeners, so that's all that matters.
That's correct.
But yeah, Lauren and I will have a 2:00 Thanksgiving at her parents', and then we'll come over to your place at 5 to finish out the night. So, like always, we have to pace ourselves. So, I may or may not have favorites at each place. So then I kind of, do my, strategize and organizing the my taste buds. But no, all my favorites are at Mom's. You know that.
Right. And no pressure, but we do watch to see how much you eat compared to everybody else.
Well, thanks again, Dad, for joining us on The Buzz this week. Was it everything you hoped for and more?
Much more. I thank you, Nathan. Love you much, and I'll be like to fill in again for Nick. I don't know if Nick's coming back or not. He has such a crazy life going on there. But if he does not, I'll be happy to sit in again.
Really, yeah, we really appreciate it and love you too. And I also wanted to thank you and Mom for always your support and love and prayers. And I wouldn't be here without you guys. And I know you instilled the passion for sports in me a long time ago. So I want to thank you for that as well. And this is a time that I'll cherish forever. And I thank you again.
Well, thank you, and thank you for being who you are.
So follow Titan Athletics on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And for all things Titan Athletics, including feature stories, schedules, video, and everything in between, go to athletics.westminster.edu. Thanks for listening to The Buzz with your host, Nate LaRiccia, and my very special fill-in co-host,
Dr. Poppy.
He missed his cue again, but he delivered. If you like our show and want to hear The Buzz past shows, just find my cell phone and I'll text you the direct link. I feel like it's the only way people listen to it. But it is on the website, athletics.westminster.edu, under Inside Athletics, and click on podcasts, and on Titan Radio westminstersportslive.com. Join us next week where we recap this week's events coming up, and also preview the events that are happening. Both basketballs are in action. Swimming and diving will be in action. And track and field, indoor track and field, is right around the corner as well. And like always, Dad, do you think we have the special guest planned for next week?
I'm going to say you're thinking about it, but I don't think they've confirmed.
That's way more progression than is actually reality. But either way,
I'm going to guess it's someone that has some affiliation with Westminster College sports.
it's a very good bet. And I think we're 5 for 5, and awesome guest. That's my favorite part of this podcast. I say that every week. But a great interview with Deontay Scott, the assistant men's basketball coach, and the Titan legend. He was a great basketball player here. Left his mark in the record books, and came back to give back and to coach, and love Westminster so much. So thanks to him for joining us this week. So until next time, have a great Thanksgiving, and thank you to my best man, my dad, for filling in this week. It was a great time, and take care, and thanks for listening.
God bless you all.